Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And today it's just me, Kim Thompson-Pinder, on the show. One of the 6 key building blocks of authority is your communication skills. And over about the last 4 years, I have been working on my speaking ability through Toastmasters International. It is an amazing organization where you learn communication and leadership skills. And if you're looking to speak on stage, then Toastmasters is a great place to be able to learn how to do that in a positive environment where you get wonderful feedback that shows you what you're doing great and areas of improvement. Over the last few months, I've been participating in Toastmasters contests, and I have won several awards for a specific speech that I want to give to you guys here today. So this is a gift to you guys. So I will be doing my 6 to 7 minute speech titled FEAR. I hope you enjoy. Shh, don't move. If I'm quiet enough, maybe Auntie will think I'm asleep and I'll finally get to see what the grown-ups do on TV. 2 hours later, that decision changed my life forever. Why? I had watched the 1931 version of Dracula with Bela Lugosi at the age of 5. And that night I was introduced to the antagonist who would brainwash me for the next 20 years. And its name was fear. I was so scared that night, I thought I was going to die. Looking back on it, a part of me did die, my innocence, and a new me was born. One who now listened to the voice of fear and took its advice. After watching that horror movie, there was only 2 reasons why I was able to fall asleep that night. The first was my humongous guard dog, Coco. And second, I slept with my younger sister, and I knew that she was much more succulent and tastier than I was. And the monsters would eat her first, for sure. Now, fear's influence was subtle in the beginning with the occasional nightmare. And I remember running into my dad's room, and he would tell me it wasn't real. But how could he say that? Anything that made my heart pound so hard had to be real. Fear was conditioning me to respond, and I did. But when it had me hooked, it intensified. Now, put up your hand, even if you're listening in your car, if you've ever experienced that. Something that starts out small but soon takes over your life. And that's what happened to me. There's an acronym for fear: false evidence appearing real. That became the mantra for my life as I believed the lies I was told. Looking back, fear had stolen my potential and robbed me of a fulfilled life where reaching my goals and dreams were possible. What was the main lie I was told? You're not smart enough, nor talented enough, or can work hard enough to succeed. Those words screamed into my head right into adulthood. And each time I caved. It confirmed what fear had said. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever hit a point in your life where you knew that something had to change? I did. I was now married with 2 small children, and one day they came into the house with a snake, asking if they could keep it. Now, I'm a city girl, and I would scream and run at the sight of an ant, and here I am, face to face with a snake. I looked into their bright eyes and their smiling faces, and I knew that I did not want them to grow up afraid like I did. With as much control as I could muster, I said to them, "That looks like a baby snake to me, and I bet that mama snake's out there looking for her baby and crying because she can't find it. You don't want her sad, do you?" Of course, they said no. "Why don't you take it outside, look at it for a couple minutes, and then put it back where you found it?" And off they went with a bounce in their step. But for the next 20 minutes, I shook uncontrollably. And it was a crossroads for me. I had to get rid of the fear, but how? One day shortly afterwards, sitting in church, the pastor talked about fear, and it wasn't what I expected. That led me on a journey to find the truth. Would you like to know the 3 things I learned? First, fear is a malevolent, sinister narcissist who only wanted to control my life. Fear didn't care one whit about me, only how much it could dominate me. Second, fear only has the power that you give it. The more you listen to it, the more real it becomes. Fear pretends to be real. It can even make your body react to it. But as soon as you take away its power, it can no longer control you. As Dale Carnegie said, fear does not exist anywhere except in the mind. Third, you get rid of it by kicking it to the curb each day. It's a process that takes time. For me, it was several years. As you learn more about fear, you start to recognize its voice and its tactics. You then make the choice to feel the fear and do it anyway. And every time you do that, fear gets weaker until you don't even hear it anymore. That's what I did. And when the fear was gone for good, there was this glorious freedom to live a life of accomplishment on the other side. And you can begin to get your journey today to get rid of any fear in your life. It starts by saying to yourself, fear, you no longer have power. Then do one small thing you've been afraid to do, no matter how you feel. Now, the first time you conquer fear, it will feel like the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. But each time you do it, the easier it gets and the brighter your life becomes as the shadow of fear fades away, leaving you with the truth that fear was never real in the first place. Once it's gone, there's nothing to stop you from reaching your full potential in life. As I close, I only have one question for you. What fear, what false evidence appearing real in your life do you need to kick to the curb for good so that you can live the life that you were destined to live? And I want to encourage you today. If you've got fear, if there's things that you've been afraid of doing in your business, it's time to get rid of that fear. Fear is what's stopping you from reaching success as an entrepreneur. And in most cases, it's not real. Now, if you were standing on the top of a very tall building and there was wind blowing and you were on the edge, well, yeah, that fear is real. But if there's something that you've been afraid to try, like doing a Facebook Live, that's not a real fear. That's a, I don't want to look silly fear. But here's the thing. Everyone feels silly the first time they do a Facebook Live. Everyone feels kind of dumb the first time they do something. But with practice, it becomes an amazing thing. I was not good at speaking. In school, I would cry sometimes when I had to do speeches. And now here I am, not only the host of the Author to Authority podcast, talking to you guys on a regular basis, but I am competing in competitions. I speak on stages. People bring me in to be on their podcasts and teach their workshops. So I can tell you for a fact that, you know what, with practice, you can accomplish anything. So this has been Kim Thompson-Pinder on the Author to Authority podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the very next episode. Bye now.